Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the NBA DFS Core Pick video for Wednesday, January 15th. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. We'll be going over my core picks for both DraftKings and FanDuel. In the morning, I'll be posting an injury report for all the teams that are not on back-to-backs. I believe there are 8 teams in total on back-to-backs, so quite a few. 11-game main slate over on FanDuel, 9-game main slate on DraftKings, so should be a pretty large slate for both. Could be a good amount of values opening up as the day moves along. We got a couple good values to start off the day as well. Throughout the day, I'll be listing the injury updates, the couple other injury reports for the teams on the back-to-back, about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock, or as those changes do become available, I will be listing my updated core, as well as many starting lineups as I can get to throughout the evening at the same time as well. But without further ado, we're going to get right into it with the DraftKings side. We're going to start off at the point guard position with Stephen Castle of the San Antonio Spurs. He is $4,000, averaging just over 21 fantasy points per game at $4,000. We're looking for at least 20 of them to pay off at 5 times value. Been in that starting lineup as of late. Do expect that continues tomorrow. Should be a pretty good pace spot between the Memphis Grizzlies and the San Antonio Spurs. Currently, I'm projected for about 24-25. Definitely could have some upside for more. Maybe a little bit of downside for less if he doesn't go out there, if he doesn't play the greatest, if he loses out on some minutes. So a little bit of risk there, but early on looks like one of the better value players on the entire slate. And then at shooting guard, we're going to go with Jalen Green. Been playing really well as of late. $7,100, so his price tag's been moving up. We're looking for 35, 36 out of him. It's a slower pace matchup versus the Denver Nuggets. Typically, the Nuggets like to play slow. They're a little bit quicker this year with Russell Westbrook in there, but Jalen Green definitely do like the upside with what he's been doing as of late. Currently, I'm projected for about 37. Has some upside for more, has a little bit of downside for less, but overall looks like a great GPP option, at least early on in the day. And then at small forward, we're going right back to Paul George. Did not end up playing for Tuesday night. The 76ers essentially rested everybody. Do assume that him, Tyrese Maxey, and a lot of these other guys will be back for Wednesday's game. So Paul George, as long as he's playing, $8,100, looking for 41 out of him. He's averaging just under 36 so far in the season. Pretty much everything I said in yesterday's video still does apply to him. Playing bigger minutes, playing better as of late. Definitely do like him. It might not be the greatest matchup in the world versus the New York Knicks, but definitely one that he can succeed in at the same time as well. And with all that being said, currently I'm projected for about 44, 45 points in this game. Do expect that this game does remain relatively competitive at the same time as well. Then we move down to power forward with Harrison Barnes. He is $4,100. Expect that he is in that starting lineup once again. Looking for 20-21 out of him, averaging just under 20 so far in the season. Pretty good pace spot once again versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Should be pretty back and forth game, I would assume, at the same time as well. Currently, I'm projected for about 26. Definitely has a little bit upside for more, a little bit downside for less if his shot's not going down, if he starts losing out on some minutes. But I don't expect that to be the case, especially with Jeremy Sohan out once again. And then at the center position, we're going to go with Kyle Filipowski of the Utah Jazz. You can also play my power forward. He's $4,300, looking for 21-22 out of him. There is no Lauri Markkanen in this game. There's no John Collins. There's no Colin Sexton. There's no Jordan Clarkson. Pretty much anybody that can soak up usage on the Utah Jazz team overall is not playing in this game. Kyle Filipowski is a young player, so even if this game is a blowout, I do assume that he'll be out there on the court more times than not. And he's a guy that can score a little bit on offense, so do think they'll focus on him a little bit in this game. Currently have him projected for about 25, 26. Definitely has some high-end upside for more, especially if he's in that starting lineup, and in a very good pace spot versus the Charlotte Hornets. A little bit of downside for less if he doesn't quite get the minutes, which I really don't assume is going to be the case in this matchup overall. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do currently have listed here, you have $22,400 remaining. Just under $7,500 remaining per player, so a good amount of money left over. If you want to pay off for some star players, you can definitely do that. If you want to go with a little bit more of a balanced approach, you can definitely do that at the same time as well. Once again, there are 8 teams in total on the back-to-back. That is spread out across the 11 games, so a couple of those teams won't be on the DraftKings slate, but definitely do assume that there will be a ton of value opening up throughout the day. Should make for a very, very interesting slate overall. But with that being said, we can move over to FanDuel and talk about my core picks over there as well. So on the FanDuel side, we're going to start off at the point guard position with Isaiah Collier of the Utah Jazz. He's $4,600. Been in that starting lineup as of late, coming off a really strong performance, looking for 23 out of him. There is no guys that are going to soak up usage at this point in time for the Utah Jazz. So no Jordan Clarkson, no Lauri Markkanen, no John Collins, no Colin Sexton. You kind of name it at this point in time. So Isaiah Collier and Kyle Filipowski might be the main cogs of their offense. Steve Mikhailiuk could also factor in too, as well as kind of a sleeper play. He hasn't played a lot of minutes, but he has scored the ball pretty well when he has gotten the chance so far this season. matchup versus the Charlotte Hornets, Collier and Filipkowski definitely do make a lot of sense just in general because they're both young players that they probably want to see out there on the court. So even in a blowout, they should be out there and kind of taking as many shots and as much usage as they can get pretty much in general. So do expect both those players will be in play for the slate overall. But in terms of Collier, currently I'm projected for about 30, has a little bit upside for more. There is some downside for less if his shot's not going down, if he somehow loses out on minutes, which I really don't expect to be the case. But definitely looks like one of the better value plays on the FanDuel side as we get started throughout the day. Then we're going to move down to shooting guard with Tyler Hero of the Miami Heat going against Los Angeles Lakers, $8,500. Looking for 42-43 out of him. With no Jimmy Butler in the lineup, he has taken that extra step forward. Bam Adebayo questionable for this game at the same time as well. If he misses, more usage to go around for a guy like Tyler Hero. And if we look at what he's done as of late, for the last 5 games, he's outperformed this price tag. Currently, I'm projected for about 45, 46. Definitely could have some high-end upside for more. A little bit of downside for less if his shot's not going down, if this game ends up being a blowout one way or another. But definitely do like Tyler Hero, especially in GPP formats for today's slate overall. And then we move down to small forward with Paul George. Once again, $8,200. If he plays in this game. I do assume that he's going to play. I assume the 76ers just rested everybody on Tuesday. Everybody should play on Wednesday. He was initially in the lineup. He was listed as probable. Then he got downgraded out. So I don't really expect too much here in terms of injury news for Paul George. Just assume that he's going to be good to go. And if he's good to go, do expect that he gets about 44 points as he's been playing more minutes and playing pretty well as of late. Then at power forward, we're going to go with Harrison Barnes once again, $4,600, a little bit more expensive than he is over on DraftKings, looking for 23 out of him. And I currently have him projected for about 20 to 5 FanDuel points, should be in that starting lineup. Playing decent sized minutes once again. If his shot's going down, he's probably going to pay off at this price tag. Just a good filler player at this point in time. There could be somebody else that opens up throughout the day that does end up replacing him. So just be sure that you are checking up on that updated core as well. And then last but not least, we're going to Kyle Filipkowski once again, $4,300. Do expect that he starts for that power forward spot for the Utah Jazz. Going against the Charlotte Hornets should be a really favorable matchup there. Like I mentioned with Isaiah Collier, not a lot of guys that can soak up usage at this point in time. So him and Filipkowski should pretty much get whatever they want in this game. Might see a little bit of Sheev Mikhailuk at the same time as well. But definitely do think that they want these two players out there on the court pretty much as many minutes as they can get, as they are two young players they want to see a little bit more out of. And do definitely like Kyle Filipkowski. Probably got him projected for about 26, 27 FanDuel points in this game overall. Could have a little bit of upside for more, a little bit of downside for less if he somehow loses minutes, foul trouble, something else like that. But definitely do like them as two of the better value plays to start off the day. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players that I do currently have listed here, you have $29,800 remaining. Just under $7,500 remaining per player. So a good amount of money remaining. Pretty much what we saw over on DraftKings at the same time as well. Going to be a lot of values that do open up throughout the day. 11 game main slate, 8 teams on the back-to-back. So it's probably going to be a stars and scrubs type of day where you're paying down for some values, paying up for some star players. Going to make very, very interesting and hopefully a very fun slate overall. But with that being said, these are my core picks for both DraftKings and FanDuel. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we'll have my morning injury report out. There's 8 teams on the back-to-back, so we won't have those ones initially, but I'll be posting injury updates throughout the day, as well as those injury reports for those 8 teams as they do become available. And then about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock, I'll have my updated core as a pinned comment. If there's any other changes that do happen after that point in time, we'll leave them as a reply to that comment as well. And then I will also be posting as many of these starting lineups as I can get to throughout the evening. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we really just have NBA DFS in terms of the core pick videos Tuesday through Friday. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Prize Picks, and Parlay Play. If you're a brand new user on any one of those 3 sites, when you sign up, make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's 125% match up to $2,000. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comment section of this video or on Twitter at CoachCraigSport. More than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in NBA DFS for Wednesday, January 15th.